Hello, my name is Renato, and today we're going to talk about what is the difference between a website and a web app. So, a website is basically a story, like a book that you just open and tell your users what they're going to be looking at. Like, for example, maybe some buttons in here to show some interaction, some simple rules, some. It's a path that you want to show your users and see what they can get of. And things like, for example, maybe like a portfolio or a simple news site. Like, for example, if we click on here and we see a website like CNN in this case, it's mostly a website that you can just click on and have some news coming into your face. It's kind of like an in-your-face style. So, for example, if you see here the sports style options, or those are categories that have been set up for you, and mostly, like, for example, if it's just a simple click that will guide you through the things, like we did with the bottom in here, that you click in here and will take you to a certain path. That's exactly something that you want from a website. Now, web app can be something different. Like, for example, you have this Flappy Bird game that I made, in which the user now has some interactivity. Like, for example, they can click, they can gain points. In this case, points. In this case, this is a little game, but usually, like, a web app will have something like a gaming system, gaming theory, you could say, where you have likes, you have maybe favorite articles, and something like this could be a good example. Could be something like Stack Overflow, for example, in which you have some sort of point system, reputation system. You can have something that will eventually, like, the more content that you put inside this web app, the more score or points you can get out of it. Like I said, it's kind of a gaming system, something that you can interact with. Now, the reason why I'm showing these two options is because this is what happens when you try to make sure you try to make a website or a web app with a CMS system. Like a CMS system in this case would be like Drupal, would have both of those options, in which you can have, for example, like would be a simple website in which the user will come here and will see the articles. They will click on the articles that they'll be most interested in, and basically you have the option of searching, which is searching will not eventually will consider a web app, but because even though there's an interactivity, it's just a path that you want your user to take. But for example, a web app would be if I could, as a user, write an article, which eventually you'll want to have users writing content or putting content into your site if that's a web app. But if you don't want that, then you want a website that you want to show people. Like, for example, this could be an article about maybe anime in this case, or it could be something that you want people to have likes, or you have, for example, maybe top favorite characters, and you have something that would allow me to log in and create and add content. So this is an important decision as a developer that you'll have to deal when it comes to when you have your first client, like say they want a 5-page web app or a 5-page website, I'm sorry, and let's say by the way, you have to ask them, is this some content? If you're gonna add some content, with this content we'll have something like comments. Like, for example, we can have comments in here in some of the articles, and if they say yes, then it's a good idea to think about what you're gonna choose as your default tool. People will usually just jump on React, jump on Angular, or they will try to just use the latest technology, which is fine because it has so much flexibility. But if it's something that it's going to be simple, you think, by the way, this is going to be a web app or a website that just have some articles and content, then a CMS is the one that I will prefer to choose, because the CMS already has those pieces included. Plus, also it has the flexibility of adding extra features into your, right out of the box. Like, for example, in this case, comments, spam protection, things like that. Something that you'll have to add, but it's much better to have something approved by a community of thousands of people rather than something that you're creating from scratch. So that's something that I just want to show you, that even though this is a website currently for anonymous user, you have also the possibility of adding some login options, some credentials, and have that create your own articles or even create some comments. And that's basically something that now I'll have to add some permissions to it and stuff like that. But do not be stressed on things like when it comes to what technology should I use? Should I use the popular technology or not? Choose the things that you're most comfortable with, but just keep in mind that every time you select a job or something related to the web, think about whether you're creating a website, something that is just create content and showing the content, or if you're creating something like a web app in which you'll have some users create some interactivity. Like for example, in here just can create some article 3 and basically add some tags, so you can add some images in there. Wouldn't really care about that. And our users will eventually see our article, and that's the path we wanted to take. If we want to add, for example, some tagging and say, by the way, we want you to have a tag and say tag sample here, and now show everything that's related to sample, or maybe some RSS feeds here, then we'll have the option of doing that with some of this website's articles and CMS. But as a web app, you'll have to think about more whether, for example, I will be a blogger of this website, and will that website eventually pay me, or even like if it's a video site as well, whether this video site will have liking system, will have something that will allow me to add some interactivity there. So that's eventually everything that I want to show you, and try to make sure I had some simple video explaining what is a web app and what is a website. It's a short decision to be taken when it comes to creating a site or an application, but it's something important to determine when you're taking extra clients on that end. So I hope this helps to explain how to start charging, or even what path to learn, whether you want to use a CMS system or when you want to use something of framework that's more custom. And thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you later. Thank you very much.